So I'm here to talk to you about work. And you're probably saying, I'm here at this TED Talk, I'm not at work, I'm here for my personal growth and development. Why does she want to talk to me about work? Well, how many people here view work as their primary source of personal growth and development? I have spotlights in my eyes, but I don't see an overwhelming amount of hands, maybe one or two. And how many believe that your source of growth and development occurs largely outside of the work environment? If I see a whole lot more hands, probably the compliment. Well, I'm here this afternoon to deconstruct that concept. I propose that work is a key source of enabling our personal growth or inhibiting our growth and development. So we'll take a peek at the social psychology behind that proposition I'm making, and then make an appeal to the leaders here that we indeed have an obligation to build structures and cultures in our organizations that are specifically geared to accomplishing the organization's mission, but also, along the way, encourage personal growth and development. I must be developing, and I'm not so good. Thank you very much. Oh, I mic'd. I sound different suddenly. How many leaders are here or people who are subject matter experts that people go to? Probably quite a few. Well, you have to ask yourself, why do you do that? Why do you spend endless hours working and leading an organization or being a go-to, right? I mean, it can be grueling. Well, when I was beginning my professional career back in the 80s, someone offered me a book and an invitation to do some soul searching. And they asked me to find my kernel of truth. And the kernel of truth, oh, pardon me, may I have the slide advancer? Thank you. Thank you. And the kernel of truth was your personal mission in this world. Why is it that you want to lead? Why is it that you want to work with people? And I thought long and hard about it. It wasn't an easy question to answer. And ultimately, I determined that my personal mission was this. My mission in this world is to help people heal and grow through my work. Now, obviously, given the fact that for 30 years I've worked in the healthcare industry, it's pretty apparent that I can fulfill the first part of my mission quite easily. I'm helping people, albeit indirectly as an administrator, but I'm helping people heal. And frankly, I'm so pleased to say that there are probably tens of thousands of people throughout the country that the organizations in which I've led have helped people optimize their health or heal. And I continue to do that. The second part, though, of my personal mission is to help people grow. And really that takes place in the workplace and through and with the employees that I'm associated with. So if you think about it then, let's take a peek just a little bit behind these assertions I'm making at some of the developmental and social psychology. Well, we probably all remember Maslow. I don't know if anyone has ever seen him before this slide has appeared, but there he is, way up there. And of course, Maslow was the father of humanistic psych and also the researcher of human needs and development, and he offers the hierarchy of needs. Well, I contend that the workplace is front and center as a means for people to move up towards self-actualization. This slide was obviously developed by someone in the UK. But anyway, if you look at it from psychological or physiological needs, there are cultures struggling, third world cultures that are struggling to just manage to take care of those needs. Without taking care of those needs, it's posited here that it's very difficult, if not impossible, to move further up. So it's very sad to me that there are people throughout this great world that will never be able to reach their full potential. We will be not able to enjoy the power and the medicine that they bring forward as individuals. However, if you look at some of the information here on the hierarchy, you can see we provide for safety and security, right? There's a belongingness, a sense of purpose, and ultimately of accomplishment and actualization. Also, this concept of work environment and self-esteem and self-identity has been really carefully researched. And make no mistake about it, the structures and conditions at work daily shape who you are. And I think this is something that, you kind of know a good culture, a bad culture, but as leaders, how do we know what we're doing to people? We spend 65% of our waking lives, adult lives, in the workplace. So you walk into work, you bring with you your sense of self-esteem, self-identity, self-image, and the culture instantly starts working on you. Starts shaping you, starts shaping your attitudes, your beliefs, right? Your behaviors ultimately. So how and what are the structures within our work environment that do this? Well, is it a cube society, right? Is there an opportunity for participation? So it can go from physical layout to ultimately the kinds of control and information structures that are there. How do people get recognized? On the process side of things, because the structure is going to lead to the process, and the process is going to lead to the outcome of whether or not you are in a toxic environment or you're in a healthy, growing environment that's encouraging your growth. So that's the quality of the relationships, right? Are people trusting? Are they backbiting? There's a huge issue in the country today with workforce bullying. People ultimately can be compelled to leave the workforce or even commit suicide because of workforce bullying, no different than school-place bullying. So the structure, the processes that are there will ultimately yield an impact on your self-esteem and how you approach not only the work world, but your personal relationships. Many of us have gone home, I'm sure, from a really rotten day at work. And look out. People don't want to be around you, or maybe better said, you don't want to be around them. So how do you make them feel? So it's really a vicious cycle, and this just spills all the way out into the community. I don't think any of us want to be this poor guy. Why am I the person that has all the problems? This poor gentleman here, right? Trying to do a good job and having all of this structure, process, influence on him every day. He's not a happy camper. So we do not want, as leaders, to create toxic environments. We rather create healthy and productive environments. In my life, I have found, and in my career life, I have found nothing more powerful to shape an organizational's culture than accountability. And this beautiful sculpture hangs near the elevators at the medical center. And I love this picture. I love it for a number of reasons. The high trapeze. Talk about accountability, right? And I'm not talking about blame. Blame does nothing but create fear. It freezes your juice. It freezes your creativity. People don't want to participate. Teamwork becomes dysfunctional. So accountability is not about blame. That's a bad game to play. Rather, it's about being able to be depended on. It's the most simple way to put it out, but it is a very robust concept. So take a look at these two high trapeze artists, right? The training, the trust, the accountability, the preparation, the execution, right, that goes in to making sure that a disaster is avoided. Every time they do that. It also is a beautiful representation of change. Because change, let's face it, we've all done some of this in our lives. When you jump out of your comfort zone and you find yourself flying in the middle of the flight and there's nothing there to support you, you're not sure how this is going to turn out, you have to trust that on the other side you will land and you will find, hopefully, a better place. So I like this, and actually we've had some management little mini meetings at the sculpture in the medical center to talk about this. So I want to make this real to Ahuja Medical Center. Ahuja Medical Center, when we opened, which was just a few years ago, 3 years old, it's a toddler of an organization. It's a melting pot. The 900 people now that work there are from all over the region. So when the doors opened, we did not have a culture that was preceding the opening, right? Many people work here perhaps for organizations that have a 100-year-old history, a 150-year-old history, right? You can walk in those doors and jump in the little culture boat like we did when we were little kids in the little circle, and it just moves you around. You just get enculturated. We didn't have that luxury. And being very much centered around culture, we hired a consultant from Los Angeles. And this individual has a very evolved concept of how to build work culture. And it's centered around this concept of accountability. And so we worked together, and we found that our middle management and our senior management all created what we believe to be our habits of success. And the habits of success in the organization need to be very specific. They have to be describable in behavior terms. Because as he challenged us, if you as leaders cannot carefully describe in detail what you expect from your team, how in the heck are they going to deliver what you want? And I think about often the self-help groups that talk about expectations being premeditated resentments. And we all know that's true, right? If we don't make our expectations clear and we don't get it delivered the way we want it, we have a resentment. Why? We weren't clear. So we all work together to develop these 9 habits. And they are very specific, and it represents how we manage a very complex business. And we hold each other accountable. So they range from things like, I'll give you a few of them, we achieve work, problem solving, and progress through cross-functional teams, not through silos, right? That we have timely, transparent problem solving and communication through all levels of the organization. Let me tell you, with some recent happenings here in Cleveland, running a hospital, there's been a lot of that going on. I don't want to talk about that word because it'll only... So, and also, and I'll give you the actual behavioral description of this, building an environment where it's safe to take risks. And so the behavioral definition, if I can get this right from memory, is that as leaders, we want to provide our employees with a safe environment to take risks, to challenge and to question. Questioning is invited. And that we learn from mistakes, and that's valued. We also want to provide an environment where it's safe to innovate, where multiple ideas can be launched, and also multiple outcomes may be resultant. And finally, that there's no good or bad, or right or wrong idea or approach, but rather it's the collection of our ideas, how we implement, and how we move forward that result in best practice. It's through that collective ability. Now, any one of those you can actually see, observe. I can ask anyone here who's a manager, say at the medical center, geez, let's see, what are you innovating? Right? How's your cross-functional team doing? Is there a clear definition of the purpose of the work you're doing? So this is what we're doing, day in and day out, and we're actually creating a much healthier culture. The visual here just shows what we've been talking about all morning, or afternoon here, is that, the workplace culture is the attitudes, the beliefs, and then the customs, the behavior. And we have an obligation to provide new and improved experience for our employees, because this will launch out into the communities. We talked about Jill talked about some of the life-saving things we're doing. We're paying it forward every day. So I get back to the workplace of accountability. Accountability is our solution to fulfill that promise to our employees. I am certain, I'm sure that this is a group of successful individuals. And make no mistake about it. Your success and my success, in large part, has been spurred by the environments of work that you've participated in. No doubt about it. So I want you to think about that. Think about the environment of the work that you're in now, right? Your role, how can you through a different expression of your own personal accountability and talents, begin to shape it, especially as a leader. So I believe it is our personal social responsibility as leaders to build organizations built on effective, healthy cultures. When a culture helps employees attain this, the employee, and review this in your own mind. Think about the best experiences you've had. You have a deep feeling of self-worth. You have a deep feeling of value, a sense of connection and belonging. You know that what you're doing has an impact on something bigger than you, and perhaps even puts you in a posture to believe that your purpose is bigger than what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And that's the actualization. It's a very profound and wonderful experience. So to summarize, I'd like to mention or recite a quote from Aristotle. He says, "We are what we repeatedly do. And therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit." And I look at this beautiful picture and I think of the alignment and the great teamwork. And I hope that's the kind of environment that you find yourself in, with support from the entire team, and that you are arriving at your destination. And also, let's not forget, individual expression and having a little fun along the way. So thank you very much. And again, pay it forward. Thank you very much.